It's now time to breathe easier. With Ted Jenkin from Oxygen Financial.
And Ted, this week, last-minute tax tips for 2016. Topic of conversation, correct?
Oh, yeah. It's this time of year where everyone wants to know, how can I save money from the government and how can I put more dollars in my pocket before the year ends? That's the number one question that we start to get here financially in December is all about taxes.
Yeah, I'm gathering up all my tax information. I imagine everybody is. You're getting it all gathered because you want to get your tax return quickly, but then you start going, well, what can I write off? How can I don't want to use the word screw the government, but I think the government's usually out to screw us, right?
Yeah, usually the first question I say is, so first of all, let me just be clear. You want to cheat, right?
You want to cheat?
Yeah, you want to cheat.
No, nobody wants to cheat. No, that's bad words. I want to get my just due. I think you talk about what people can do, like maybe as an employer or as an employee, or are you self-employed? I want to know the things that I can write off that are legit. I mean, let's just win playing by the rules.
Well, are all you guys employees of Cumulus? Everybody's an employee of Cumulus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and so one of the first questions if you're an employee of any company that I have is that, did you spend your own money on anything that was work-related that this company here, Cumulus notwithstanding, didn't reimburse you? Did you work for a company, you spent money? This might have been meals, entertainment, travel. You had to spend things that would create more business, or you guys try to, bring in more advertisers or whatever, and then Cumulus didn't reimburse you the money. Did that happen this year?
Yes.
I'm going to say no. I got reimbursed, I guess, on everything that I turned in, Didn't you all?
Yeah, I mean, I go to a different bar every Thursday, but I have to, get a meal there, or I have to pay for gas to get out there and back. And
yeah, we don't get covered on that.
Nate's talking about something important like mileage. Like, he may reimburse and say to Cumulus, did you get the mileage back that you drove to these places when you had to do Smarta Marta or these other segments? And if you didn't get reimbursed for them, then there's a section on your tax return called unreimbursed employee expenses. And to the extent that they exceed about 2% of your income, you may be able to deduct those off your return. And that could be a significant amount of money in your pocket because you might have driven 5,000 or 10,000 miles this year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, every time I go there and back, it's like an hour and a half there because I got to get there early and it's right around rush hour. So I'm in the car for probably 2 hours.
Didn't your boss make you go to the casino and stuff like that?
Yeah. The hotel. I paid for a hotel there.
Okay. Now we're walking a fine line.
Are we?
I don't know, but you're right. When I'm out, I'll buy Brent food. I buy him food in the morning. I can write that off. I want to be nice to him because he gets my coffee as an intern.
Well, especially you and Jason that may be looking at advertisers and saying, hey, I've got to go different places and entertain, or I may be trying to bring in new business. I know that there are salespeople here that do that, but if your employer doesn't reimburse you, that's one big way to be able to take expenses off.
Okay, so that's one way. Now, if you're self-employed, and by the way, we're coming we've got a good question out of Griffin here in a second. You'll love this. But I want to ask first, if I'm self-employed, what can I do as far as, I know I can write off a lot, but how do I look at like a retirement? Here we have a 401k.
Well, the biggest mistake, Steve, people make with their self-employed business, they don't separate church and state. And what I mean by that is that if you have a business or you're a freelancer or a contractor, you don't want to use the same bank account for your personal expenses as you do for your business expenses, because the IRS is going to say, Steve, why'd you buy a computer on your personal card if this was a business expense? So I like the idea of having a separate business bank account and a separate business credit card. And I've got a list of probably 60 or 80 expenses that you may be able to blow through your business. And before the end of the year, if you don't have a 401k as a small business owner, you can set up something called a solo K. This is a 401k for one person.
Boom.
That's sweet. And you can still do it before the end of the year.
All right, there's still time to set that up.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't cost much to set it up.
Financial can set you up with that. I do want to go to Griffin. This is a girl named Shayna. She said that she has a question about her husband, Ted.
No. It's a financial question.
Yeah, it's a financial question. It's actually a good question. I think she's the breadwinner, and her husband's going to school. Shayna, go ahead.
Hey, guys. Okay, my husband, we saved up our money, and enough for him to quit work. He's going back to college, or going to college, and I am the breadwinner. Can I claim him on my taxes?
She's the breadwinner.
What do you mean? Can you claim him? Do you file jointly?
Well, yeah. Oh, yes, we file jointly. Now, this year he did work. He worked for 1 month. He got about $3,000. So he did have a little bit of income this year. But when we file joint as married, and we have one dependent. So I was wondering, am I going to be able to claim him as a dependent on my taxes?
Well, he'll be on your tax return anyway when you file married. So you won't, it won't necessarily that he'll be a dependent. He'll still be on there as an exemption. You still guys will still get a personal exemption for him, but yeah, he'll be on your tax return.
Okay, is there any kind of tax breaks that we'll get for him being an adult student?
Not really. I mean, when you pay for college, you won't be able to write that off per se, unless it's part of some business. Then there may be some creative ways to do that. But is he taking out any student loans?
No, we saved up to pay for everything.
See, no, that's great. They're not putting any
that's good.
debt
No extra debt in here.
No extra debt. They're paying for school as they go.
But that investment in the education should bring in more income for the family down the road.
It absolutely will. The program he's in starts out at about $60,000 a year with 100% job placement, and that's more than he was making before. And he's not going to be killing himself physically like he was. So,
well, that's good. That's great news.
That's good stuff.
All right. Well, did that answer your question? You can write him off.
It did. Hey, Steve, congratulations on River Range Rickman. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on. That's the new name I may be going with my child.
River Range Rickman?
That's a great name. Don't y'all like that, Bailey? River Range Rickman?
Well, considering you're going to name your kid after somebody that overdosed out in front of a nightclub. I mean, good move.
Problems happen. I didn't go full on Phoenix. I went River Range, but I do like the name River, but we're not there yet. Ted, charitable donations. I do want to know, because I do nice things. I know, Bailey and I, we do charitable events. I know we can write off those events and money we put into it, but how do people do their charitable donations?
There are two serious things that you need to know and write down now. I mean, one is that if you're going to give away those non-cash charitable contribution, bags of stuff at home, a lot of people will just write off $50 for a bag because they say, well, I don't know what it was worth. That's what I'm going to write off on my tax return. But you should generally get a blank receipt from Goodwill, Salvation Army. You may be able to write off a lot more than that. The average taxpayer is somewhere in that 1% range of their income for non-cash charitable contributions. And if you go online now to a place called goalscholarship.org, there's a huge state tax deduction that you can get in 2017 that can be great, but you need to apply for it now.
Do you, when you give cash, Bailey, do you ask for receipts and stuff, even like when you're giving to these, the soldiers and the charity and things like that?
I don't give to charity.
You don't?
I keep it all. I'm a charity person. I'm a charity amongst myself. Okay. Of course you ask for a receipt. But you ask for a receipt every time you do.
But I see people put $20 in a bucket. I see people a lot of times just handing that. I hand that to the firemen's, when you see them at the intersections and stuff. You can't really write that off unless you get a receipt.
You give the guy $3 to stick in a boot, he's not going to write you a receipt at the traffic light. That's not going to happen. But you can still claim it and say that you got it. It'd be more difficult to prove if you got audited.
Okay. And Ted, I do want to say that you are on Headline News every Saturday morning. I watched you last week. You were on at like 7:15 and 8:15 with Oxygen Financial, and you'll be on Headline News again this Saturday, but you're doing something different with the Weather Channel?
Oh, yeah. The Weather Channel now, we're talking about, ways to save money here in the winter. During the holiday time and getting into the winter, how do you save money? They want to know this on the Weather Channel. This is important stuff. And it may not get as cold here, but it's cold in other areas, and there are things that you could do to save money during the wintertime. So I'll be talking about that.
That's awesome. The man that can save you money, Ted Jenkin with Oxygen Financial. How can people find you?
Yeah, if you go to oxygenfinancial.net, we've got a list now of those 60 to 80 business tax deductions at oxygenfinancial.net. And by the way, you may have never thought about getting into the film business, but one of the biggest tax savings you can get before the end of the year going into next year is learn about the film business here in Georgia. Go to oxygenfinancial.net.
All right, there you go. Headlines, your third round. Up next, Brandy, what do you got over there?
We have tickets to see Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy Saturday, April 29th at the Fox Theater, and you get your tickets first during the pre-sale starting this Wednesday at 10 a.m. using the password FUNNY at Ticketmaster.com.
All right, two big stories from today. Your job, match up the audio at the correct headline. I got Jeff Foxworthy, Larry the Cable Guy tickets for you here, 404-741-7625. Need some players for headlines. Round number 3 here in just a minute. Bailey and Southside Rock 100.5.
Rock 100.5 right now, Haviland Express Loop traffic. Down